Well, good morning, everyone. I appreciate we have the toughest slot. It's Friday morning and it's the gala dinner the day before. I realized that we might have some people crawling in after as we start, but we appreciate we have a tough program and we want you to benefit from all of these points. I'll pass you on to the next panel session. To my colleague, Alfredo Jimenez, who is going to be guiding this session. I will be doing the IT support as usual, and over to Alfredo, Rito, and Todor, who've traveled especially for this event and actually give us a more critical perspective on social media, I hope. Over to Alfredo. Thank you.
Thank you, Alexei. Good morning, everybody. Bonjour. Thank you very much for attending this session. I know it's always tough, first session in the morning after gala dinner, so thank you very much. Today we are going to have this plenary session on social media and corruption. We have 3 speakers with us. I'll introduce each of them, and towards the end we can have some interaction with the audience as well, questions, etc. But first of all, of course, thanks to the sponsors of the conference, and in particular for this session to BridgeGap, which is a European Union funded project on corruption that actually we make part of it. So with no further ado, this panel on social media and corruption. First of all, the speakers. I'm Alfredo Jimenez. I'm a professor of international business in the Department of Management here at Catch, normally in the campus of Bordeaux, but very glad to be here in Marseille as well. And we have a set of speakers. First of all, Professor Rita Marchetti from University of Perugia. I'll introduce them maybe one by one whenever they are going to speak, not to give a too long introduction. We're reading all the bios right now. So we can get started with our first speaker, Professor Rita Marchetti, Associate Professor in the Department of Political Science at University of Perugia in Italy, where she teaches sociology of digital media and media and political systems in the digital era. She has coordinated several national and international research projects on public discourse around corruption and anti-corruption and the relationship between media and religion. She currently leads Work Package 7 in this BridgeGap project on assessing legacy and social media. And she also serves on the steering committee. Her publications are in a long range of academic journals, have introduced innovative analytical approaches to investigating the politicization of corruption and the role of media in shaping this, the narrative. So thank you, Rita, for coming all the way from Perugia. The floor is yours if you want to control the slides.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Alexei. Thank you, Alfredo and Todor, and thank you to all. Just a few words about the BridgeGap project. The BridgeGap project involved 15 partners from 12 countries, and our focus is corruption. We are analyzing, we are studying corruption from different perspectives. This is an interdisciplinary research project that involves political scientists, economists, sociologists, and so on. And in particular, I'm the leader of the Work Package 7, in which are involved also CADGE, Alexei, Alfredo, and Todor Center for the Study of Democracy from Bulgaria. In particular, in our Work Package 7, we are analyzing the role of media, both legacy media and social media platform, to define the public discussion about corruptive phenomena. In particular, we are building a media capture risk map in the 27 European countries and 5 candidate countries, considering both legacy media and social media platforms. I think that this point is very, very important because often when also in the documents from the European Commission, it's not clear what media means. And then I think that it's very, very important to keep in mind these different things that we collect under the umbrella, media umbrella. And our work with Alexei, Todor, Alfredo, Anna, and other colleagues focus also on the analysis of key studies to discover, to analyze the coverage of corruption cases in legacy media, and in particular in newspapers. But today, I illustrate to you our work on social media platforms. And in particular, we are analyzing the discussions on corruptive phenomena, on corruption and anti-corruption on Facebook and Instagram. And I think that it is very, very important to consider the discussions about social media platforms. This is an important point for European Commission, as already we know from the European Democracy Plan, that it is very important to empower citizens and civil society to protect and open up public debate from covert interference, to promote the participation of citizens and civil society organization in policymaking, but also to guarantee media freedom and pluralism, and countering disinformation, free information manipulation and interference. Then social media platform. We have to consider that news is increasingly reaching citizens directly through their social media accounts rather than via newspapers, website, or Google, as many sources, such as the report published by Reuters Institute. And we have also to consider that the social media platform today have a significant influence on shaping public discourse and the agenda setting processes of traditional media outlets. What are the issues at the center of the public debate, and which are the frames who is to able to set the agenda, in particular on our topic on corruption. But social media platforms are again black boxes. Black boxes that, as researchers, we need to investigate. Even if in recent years, there has been a growing interest in studies investigating the relationship between media and corruption. This growing interest has only marginally involved social media platforms. In this slide, you can see the number of published articles through Web of Science. The line blue is articles with keywords media and corruption. In red, social media and corruption. I think that there are two main biases referred to social media platforms in the literature. First of all, to emphasize the active role of citizens on social media platforms. I think that this emphasis on the citizens could limit our understanding of what happens on social media. And second, there are some studies that consider social media as an alternative to social media. But we know that so legacy media is just included on social media platforms, because legacy media are accounts on social media platforms. And within social media platforms, there is a plurality of diversified information sources and news sources. And then we have to consider the complexity of the current media ecosystem. And we need empirical analysis to verify which actors are involved and what their weight is in online discussion, because they are lacking. And then we need to analyze who says what in particular about corruption. And we also to consider, we keep in mind that a variety of actors does not necessarily mean that all players in the agenda building process, such as the legacy media and politicians, disappear. Our preliminary results, findings of our research show that the main sources of discussion about corruption are, again, legacy media. Impact of discussion in the public sphere. We have to consider that analyzing the discussion on social media about corruption, we could discover different types of corruption that citizens, but other type of actors discuss about different types of corruption that we as researchers sometimes we don't consider in our research. Analyzing social media discussion, we can discover different ways to discuss about corruption, different dynamics, different from that emerged from the analysis, for example, of legacy media. And we keep in mind again that we need to detect what is considered as a corrupt act in a given context. Our research is a comparative research that compare different countries. It's the first step. We are analyzing the discussion social media in Italian, in French, and in Bulgaria. But in our countries, what people consider corruption could different from one context and another. Different type of discussion networks. We could have networks of supporting anti-corruption initiatives, and on the other side, disinformation, malicious actors that use the corruption topic to influence the public debate. And then our study, our work package 7 in the BridgeGap project is focused on who discuss about corruption within social media, what type of corruption discussed, and who says what, the networks of discussion about corruption. This is a work in progress, and I just delineate our methodology, in general, our focus and our goals of the work package 7. Thank you.
Thank you, Rita. We're going to continue with our second speaker, Dr. Todor Galev. Dr. Todor Galev specializes in socio-economic and sociological studies on state capture, corruption, foreign influence, and disinformation. In recent years, his work is focused on using open public data and digital forensics to reveal hidden networks that increase the influence of non-democratic foreign governments and private interests in Europe. Todor analyzes complex hybrid threats to democratic institutions with a particular focus on the role in advancing geopolitical agendas. He's an expert in bridging data-driven methodologies with policy research to expose and mitigate emerging threats to democratic resilience. So thank you very much, Todor, whenever you want.
Thank you, Alfredo. Thank you to all of you that you are here with us. Thank you to Alexei and Cage Business School for inviting us to this conference. Without further delay, I'll go to the presentation. Actually, I'll speak now for something that could be a little bit far away from social media. Even a part of this investigation actually rely. And I say investigation because it's a real investigation. It's not like a study. It's more like a criminal investigation. Rely on information that have been found and identified in social media. And part of the information, as I'll show you in a while, actually was collected through organizing informal groups of supporters on social media. So when we studying corruption, we faced recently with a problem of what we call strategic corruption. This is when a corruption is used by a foreign malign government, in this case Russia, but it could be other government also, to achieve its geopolitical aims. And as many recent researchers indicate, the goals here are political rather than economic, or at least when we are talking about authoritarian government's agenda, the economic and political aims are inseparable one of another. To achieve its intended outcome, strategic corruption must be widespread and sustained over time. This implies that it should target and impact in significant decision-making authorities within domestic states. As you can imagine, the identification and investigation of strategic corruption are inherently challenging, as it includes different hidden clandestine activities, undue influence on high-level politicians or powerful economic actors. Furthermore, the involvement of at least two countries, and as you can see in a while, actually we're talking about specifically designed and created to establish networks of many different organizations, companies, and so on, most of them obfuscated in offshore zones and so on, just to hide these activities that we can allegedly say that they entail some kind of corruption. Nonetheless, strategic corruption can be identified as it results in discernible alteration of domestic policy decision-making. And furthermore, instances of strategic corruption frequently leave material traces, either official documents or unofficial documents, like in this case that I will show you in a while, email leaks by hacktivists that actually reveal the activities behind the scene. What were our information sources in this report that you can see here? It is already published. It's a huge one, 80 pages, but I'll focus only on few of these information sources that we use here. First of all, company data. So these are data about financials of the company, ownership, management, and so on. So this company data came not only from official business registers, but also from leaked databases, for example, of offshore registers that are either way not publicly accessible. So, for example, we have been used here the database of OCCRP. This is a association of investigative journalists that are studying corruption internationally, or from different leaked databases like Panama Papers, LuxLeaks, and so on and so on. Then we use a lot of media investigations, either published by the media, or also we use a lot of information which is collected from social media. You know, people always are talking, and when you're looking for information about a person, company, organization, doesn't matter what, usually if you look at the social media in the country where this person or organization is based, you can find some information which is either not publicly available. This is brother of this one, or this guy has been working as a director in this company, and so on and so on. In our approaches, we use both quantitative network analysis, you know, the standardized techniques, but also manual mapping, because in most of the cases, like this case here that I'll present, manual mapping is more successful. So this is just to give you an example. This is the so-called network of organizations and companies of the Turk Stream gas pipeline. So the Turk Stream gas pipeline was built by Gazprom, a Russian state-owned company. Currently, this is the only gas pipeline that connects Europe with Russia, and this is the only transit route for Russian gas to Europe. There we identify more than 50 organizations, companies, and other type of legal entities that have been engaged in this network. Here I focus only on a few of them just to show you how we work on this. The funding for the whole project came through Gazprom and Gazprom Bank, which is owned by Gazprom. It was channeled through a Russian owned company called TMK. TMK provides funding to a series actually offshore companies registered in Cyprus or Luxembourg that at the end provide a credit line to the Saudi Arabian consortium that won the contract. Guess what happened? And this is just an example why we're talking about strategic corruption. In 2019, the ARCAD consortium received 85 million of US dollars from Gazprom. And what it was paid for actually? This was because only few months later, the whole management of the whole project was changed completely. And two people, Russian citizens, previously high-level managers at Gazprom, actually took the lead of ARCAD consortium. ARCAD consortium also uses a lot of Belarusian, Russian, and so on companies, and that at that time were under actually international and EU sanctions. Nevertheless, they work in Bulgaria, which is a EU country. In the same time, for example, ARCAD consortium has been served by high-level Bulgarian politicians. And just to give you an example, in a strange accident, the official document for the project, so-called roadmap for the project, signed by two ministers, was lost by the ministry. And even there was an investigation committee by the parliament, they were not able to find it. And Gazprom denied to share their own copy. At the end, this document was found by hacktivists who hacked email account of a Russian politician. I just want briefly to describe the mapping process that we use. So first we identify historically the key actors and their connections based only on official documents and sources and credible media. So challenges in this step were historical changes that happen because companies change their ownership and management and so on and so on. Then triangulation of media findings. Always when we use media, either there is a social media information or media from or information from other media, we use at least 2-3 sources to confirm that the information is reliable. And at the end, we have also a challenge to identify legal and physical persons mentioned in abbreviated way, especially in media. Then we identify legally existing links, so links that are legally proved between these key actors. Here, some of the challenges are merging company data from different sources, countries, and so on and so on. Again, triangulation of media and online sources, and of course, the obfuscation of information and data that is coming from media investigation databases, leaks, and so on. Then we add on the next step the newly identified actors and connections to the map. And now on this step, we already have a challenge to classify the links because the complexity of the map grows enormously. Then we check newly identified actors again and again, like in the step 1. In this way, going through series of steps, each of which is based on a specific procedure, we were able to map and describe the actors and connections that are behind these clandestine activities. And I want only to focus on this, and this is my last word, that the work with social media groups that are supporting your idea and that helps you find a lot of information. So a kind of a crowdsourcing, let's say, was crucial for this investigation. And the next and the last thing, the mutual trust that you built with insiders from these countries, from the companies and so on, that can share you insider information, like in the movies. But it's crucial for this type of investigation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Todor. Last but certainly not least, we have our third speaker, Ms. Svetlana Stepanenko, who will talk about tools for corruption investigation. She leads EU controls engagement in EU-funded programs, focusing on strategic partnerships and open data technologies to solve public interest issues. She collaborates with different academic institutions, civil society organizations, and investigative teams to promote effective use of open data for research, regulatory compliance, and strengthening transparency and accountability. Her work bridges the gap between data-driven innovation and democratic governance. Thank you very much, Svetlana. Thank you for being with us online. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much for introduction, and thank you, Ketch, for inviting us to this conference. Greetings from Ukraine. I would like to present to you today our Follow the Money tool developed within the BridgeGap project. And what I would like to mention first and foremost is that my speech today is tied closely to the previous speech by Todor, because I firmly believe that understanding corruption begins with understanding who is connected to whom and how exactly this connection is made. So let me just briefly introduce us and who we are. UControl is a Ukrainian company that develops analytical tools based on open data. We were founded in 2014, and from the very beginning, our focus has been on using data to strengthen transparency and fight corruption, both in Ukraine and internationally. Follow the Money is a search engine and data analysis tool that we developed within the BridgeGap project. What makes Follow the Money different is that it's not just about accessing the data itself, it's about seeing how people, companies, and most importantly, how interests are connected across different jurisdictions. The user can send a query with the name of the company or an individual or basically any entity and receive matching results from YC World. It's a platform which powers Follow the Money, and then the user can view the details after logging into the system. So what is YC World? It is a system developed by UControl that aggregates open data from official registries and is used to detect relevant cross-border influence, ownership structures, and access historical data. It's a comprehensive investigative tool and that we have created after the full-scale invasion of Russia to Ukraine. Currently, YC World system has a pretty impressive database, which is also very dynamic because we constantly improve the system, and you can see the current numbers on the screen, or you can access the data coverage page and see the most up-to-date numbers. The system also covers politically exposed persons, sanctioned individuals, war criminals, and highlights potential risks. but most importantly, the tool helps to uncover links that are not immediately visible and are not obvious at the first sight. Within the BridgeGap project, we have added 20 essential data sets, and these data sets include political party finance data from Italy, Netherlands, Latvia, also official company registers from several countries, European lobbying meetings from the European Parliament and the Commission, and also publicly exposed persons data from Russia, Belarus, Kazakhstan, and Ukraine. We also not just add this data, but we enhance it by linking the data sets between each other and between our whole database. So now we can, for example, link a sanctioned oligarch to a certain lobbying meeting in the European Union. And we also develop our custom algorithms for transliteration, deduplication, and similarity detection. So this further expands the ability of users to trace relationship, even if there are any language barriers, spelling variations, or if the information about the entity is not full in the publishing source. So let me just switch to another tab and show you exactly what I'm talking about. Here is the Follow the Money page on the Corruption Data EU website, which is our BridgeGap website. Here you can see all the attributes which you can use to search for a company and all the attributes you can use to search for a person. So the system supports both levels of search, company and individual level. And also in the bottom part of the page, you can see all the data sets that we added within the project. So let's try and perform a search. In this case, I'm using full legal name of the company. I have already typed it into the search bar, and I just need to press search. After searching, I get the amount of records where this entity was found. And to access details, I click on the hyperlink, and now I'm redirected into the YC World system. So for the purpose of this use case, I will be using the second search result I get because it bases upon a source that we added within the BridgeGap project. Now I click on the graph, and I can see the first level connection of the company that I was searching for visualized. In the left side of the screen, the system automatically highlights risk connections. In this case, the risky connection is Russian trace. So this is something the system automatically lets you know, and a researcher might want to pay more attention to this company and this trace. Also, you can find such information as the status of the company. In this case, the company is registered, the incorporation date, and jurisdictions. Also, for every entity we have in the system, we publish publishing source and a link to the publishing source. So this is very transparent, and any user can understand where we get this data from. So let's click on the trace and see where this Russian trace is coming from. The system lets us know that this Russian trace comes from this company. What also is interesting here is that we see this arrow from the bottom entity to the top one, which indicates the connection, and the type of connection is ownership. So we understand that this second Latvian organization owns the company we were looking in. So let's double click and open second level connections of this company. So now let's also highlight the Russian trace, and we can see that the Russian trace comes from two sides. First connection is from Avin Piotr, and this connection is dotted, therefore it is historical. It was relevant at some point, but now it is not relevant. And we might need to to focus on the relevant connections. And the relevant connection is a company from Cyprus that owns this Latvian company. So let's double click and see where the Russian connection comes from. And surprisingly, it comes from the same person, from Piotr Avin. So the situation we see here is that this individual was previously directly owning this organization, but now indirectly influences it through a Cypriot organization. Let's click on an individual and understand who this person is. First of all, we see the risk factors. The very huge red flag is sanctions. This individual is mentioned in 27 international sanction lists. That is a lot of sanctions. Also, this person is politically exposed and has Russian trace. Here, when we look at the circle of the entity, we see a Latvian flag, which indicates that this person has Latvian citizenship. But when we scroll a little lower into this left part of the screen, we see that actually this person has several citizenships. He has several citizenships, and if we scroll even lower, we can see that his place of birth is Russia. So this person is originally from Russia, and you can follow all these links to see detailed information about this person, figure out who he is. But I will save you and us some time and tell you exactly who he is. He is considered to be one of the richest people in Russia by Forbes. He was the president of Alpha Bank and also is sanctioned because he is tightly involved in the Russian political corruption. So he uses his money to transform it into power and to influence political situation. This example clearly shows how you can check any company you can find or an individual you can find on social media who promotes some suspicious narratives, and then you can search for connections and probably get a better understanding why this entity was promoting those kinds of narratives. The system also has many other very interesting features, such as create custom entity. So if you're conducting an investigation by yourself or you have some additional information, you can create a custom entity, and you can also create a connection. And this will be visible only to you, and any other person in the system will not see this. Also, you can adjust the view of the graph to your liking. And a lot of other features are available. That's why we keep in touch with the BridgeGap researchers and try to make sure that the researchers use our tools to their full potential. So this is all I wanted to share with you right now. Thank you very much for your attention.